Well, hello there, let's connect. This is going to be a video where I teach you guys how to play the Transformers TCG. This is the trading card game. I have some pre-built decks that I made, and they're kind of like starter decks, and this is going to be an Autobot versus a Decepticon deck, and I'll go through and explain how everything kind of works. Alright, when you first get into this game and you start collecting your characters, there's a lot of characters, and you build your team based on a star count. So this is a pre-made deck that I built, and they had a starter deck that came out with some of these characters in it, but I also made some modifications for it, explaining a little more about where the game has progressed. And so this is your team. This is an Autobot team. You can mix and match your teams. They don't have to be all Autobots, and they don't have to be all Decepticons. There's different factions. There's mercenaries. There's Junkions. There's Quintessons. There's Wreckers. There's all sorts of different stuff, and you can mix and match as long as your star count is equal to 25 stars. This is the star number here on the character. This is their attack. This is their alt mode. This is their health, and this is their defense. And some of the characters have writing on them that give you a special ability. Some of them are also vanilla. So this is Optimus Prime Autobot leader. See, he's a leader, and he's a truck, and he's ranged. And like I said, this is his attack, this is his health, and this is his defense. And over here in this corner, this gives you a little preview of what's on the other side, so that when you do transform your character, you kind of know what you're getting into. And this states when you flip to this mode, draw a card. So basically, when you transform Optimus Prime from Optimus Prime, you transform him back to truck mode, you get to draw a card. So when you transform Optimus Prime, his attack stays the same, which is 3. His bot mode now, his health stays the same. Generally, the health will always stay the same on both modes. And then his defense stays the same. But when you flip to this mode, you get bold 1. And bold I will explain as we play the game. And then, like I said, this is Autobot. Optimus Prime, Autobot leader. He still keeps the leader tag, and he's ranged. Obviously, he's no longer a truck because he's a robot. And so you get to flip back and forth or transform your characters during your turn. Some will allow you to do it more than once, but sometimes you can only do it 1 per turn. But yes, this is one of the characters. This is Optimus Prime. There's been several variations and different versions of this Optimus Prime, but this is just one of the versions. And then the other character on your team, or this team here, see, this is he's got 7 stars there. This is Ironhide. Everyone kind of knows who Ironhide is. Ironhide, Valiant Autobot, or Veteran Autobot, sorry. And he's a truck, and he's a melee character. This is his health. He has 3, this is his attack, his alt mode, his health. He has 7 health. He has 3 defense, and like I said, he's vanilla. But when you transform him to bot mode, he gains 1 attack. His health stays the same, and his armor, he loses a little bit of armor. But he's a ranged character in this mode. But like I said, some characters are vanilla. Some of them give you ability, some of them do not. But yeah, that's Ironhide. And like I said, he transforms from his truck mode. He's kind of like a van or an SUV. And his bot mode. And then the other character on this team, and he has 6 stars. And this is Red Alert Security Chief. He's a car. He's ranged. He has 3 attack. His alt mode, he has 10 health, 2 defense, and he is vanilla in this mode. But as you can look, when you transform him, his name is still the same. He's a ranged character. He gains 2 attack. Now he goes up from 3 to 5 attack. His health stays the same, but he also loses some defense. So sometimes different modes you gain and lose certain things, but he's also a vanilla character where he doesn't state anything, and he is also 6 stars. So, and then the last character for this team is Bumblebee, Brave Warrior. This is Bumblebee. He's a leader, he's a car, and he's melee in this mode. He has 3 attack, 9 health, 2 defense. He's got a little bit of writing, and this is his alt mode. And it says, when you flip to this mode, each of your characters gets Pierce 1. And I'll explain what Pierce does as we play the game. Until the end of turn. And then it says, do at least 1 damage when attacking, but not more than the total attack. So, I'll explain Pierce as we progress during the game and learning how to play. But yeah, so this is Bumblebee. This is his car mode, and he's also 6 stars. And when you transform him, he's still the same brave warrior. He's a leader, and now he's a melee character. He has 4 attack. This is his bot mode. He has 9 health still and 2 defense. And then it says when you flip to this mode, you get tough 1. And I'll explain what these keywords mean as we play the game. And so he is also 6 stars. So this Autobot team, so there's 7, 6, 6, 6, and 6. So the total number of stars for this team is 25 stars. As you can only have 25 stars to build your team. There are some other cards that kind of allow you to break that rule in some aspects, but we're not going to talk about that in this video. And then, so that is the Autobot team, and then this is the Autobot deck. And then after you build your team, based on your star count and whichever character you would like to make as your main character, for the demonstration of this video and for this starter deck, Optimus Prime is the hero of this team, as he is for the Autobots. And so this is the deck. And so when you build your deck based on your characters, you can build it based on either being aggressive or defensive, or there's combo decks and there's control decks, just like with most TCGs. And it just kind of depends on the way you want to play the game. You build your deck based on that. But this deck is kind of just a standard deck that just kind of shows you how to play the game. And it doesn't make the game too complicated. It has a little bit, it touches on a little bit of everything. It has a little control, has a little bit of defense, has a little bit of aggression. And so I'll explain as we go. And one of the other key things to remember when playing the game, each character, unless stated otherwise by the text on them or certain things, each character has 1 weapon slot, 1 utility slot, and 1 armor slot. And so those are how you build your deck too. See, like this is an armor that you would put on any character, and they have special words. But see, if you look here, it states that this is an armor. This is Dismantling Claw. These are the pips I will explain as we play the game. This one has a blue and a green pip. It gives you, I'm sorry, I said this was an armor. This is actually a weapon. This is a weapon. And it says when this is scrapped from a character, which means after you equip it to somebody and it gets removed by different means, you can scrap an enemy weapon. But this will also give anybody that this is equipped with +1. So Optimus Prime with this weapon would be now have 4 attack. And then each deck is built based on weapons, actions, utilities. So it's basically upgrades and actions. So you build your deck, you can have weapons, armors, and utilities, and then you have actions. And there's also secret actions and rolling actions, but we're not going to get into those in this video. We're just going to keep it simple between actions and upgrades. So yes, as you get your team and you build your deck, and then you find an opponent, and then we'll explain that with the Decepticons. And so this is the opposite. This is going to be the opposing team, and this is the Decepticon team, which I'm going to play up against these characters. This is Megatron. He's Cybertronian Tyrant. He's a tank. He has range. He has 2 attack in his alt mode, 10 health, 2 defense, and it states that he has Bold 1. And he is 7 stars. So he is very comparable to the Optimus Prime that I built for this deck. So like I said, this deck is meant to compare very well to each other. And then so when you transform Megatron, he stays the same. He is ranged, and he, look at the artwork, is pretty good. He has 3 attack, 10 health, 1 defense, but it says when this character is upgraded, he gets +1 until the end of turn. So sometimes you can put more than 1 upgrade on a character in a turn, so that would actually boost his attack by +1 plus whatever the upgrade does for him. And I'll try to demonstrate that in this playthrough video. And the next character on this team of Decepticons is Demolisher. He is a tank. He is ranged. He has 3 attack in his alt mode, 7 health, 3 defense. And it says, when you flip to this mode, draw a card for each of your other tanks. So there's only one other tank in this deck. So if Megatron's in his tank mode, I would get to draw a card when I flip to this mode. And he is 6 stars. And when you transform him to his bot mode, he is a melee character. He loses all of his attack. He gains 1 defense. His health stays the same. But it says, when this attacks, you flip extra battle cards equal to his defense. So right now, when I attack, I would flip 4 extra cards unless he was upgraded with other armors that gave him more than his 4. So I would demonstrate that during the game as well when we play, that I'll be flipping extra cards. This was another keyword, basically kind of he has bold without saying he has bold. And then one of the other characters for this team, I did it for flavor text and nostalgic. This is Starscream, Decepticon Lieutenant. He is a plane, he is melee, he has 3 attack, 7 health, 1 defense. He's vanilla in that mode, and when he transforms, he becomes a melee character. He gains 1 attack, his health stays the same, and he loses some defense, but he gets tough. And like I said, there's nothing to these characters. They're kind of simple. These weren't the most meta characters, but I just did them for the flavor and for the nostalgic of this team. And then this is Skywarp. He is also a plane. He is ranged. He is a seeker. And then he has 4 attack. In his alt mode, he has 8 health, 2 defense. And it says, when you flip to this mode, each character reveals the top card of their deck. And so you can kind of see what, it's somewhat of a controlled deck or something like that. I don't remember what the other keyword would be that some people from other games would know. And then when he transforms, he becomes a ranged character. His health stays the same, or his attack stays the same. His health stays the same, and his defense stays the same. And then it says, when this character defends and you flip at least 1 white icon. I remember I showed you the icons in the top of the corner. See, like this. Oh, look at that. Perfect. So if he was defending and I flip this white icon here, as you can see, the white icon, you may choose one of your other characters to do the damage to. So like if he was going to get attacked with a pretty heavy hit and say I only had Starscream left with 1 health, I could send all that damage to Starscream. Starscream would take all that damage and perish, and then he would be left undamaged. Yes, damaged from, like I said, do the damage to this, from this attack done to that character instead. And so there's that. And then this team is built up, he is 7 stars, he is 6 stars, he is 5 stars, and he is 6 stars. So as you can do the math, this only equals 24 stars, so that when you are building your deck, you can also build your deck with some pretty powerful cards. Some of the cards that are built into the decks have a star value, which can give you different abilities. So therefore, you can build your deck based on how many ever extra stars you have. So far, this deck only has 1 free star, so I put a star card in this deck. And I will explain it to you once I find it. All right, so I found that star card. It is right here. This is called Fuel Cache. This is a single star, which equals 25 stars from this deck. And some of the star cards can be pretty powerful, and they have different pips, and they have different abilities, and they can be an action or an upgrade or a utility or an armor. This was just one I threw in as a general. It says reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. If there's at least a white, an orange, and a blue, you can put them all into your hand. If not, then you scrap them. But it can be pretty powerful. It's basically kind of a play 1 card, draw 3 if it triggers. So there's that. And so yeah, so then once you build your deck based on whichever characters you want and however you want to play, then you get an opponent. And there's lots of people that play on Discord still. There's people that play on Tabletop Simulator and Octagon that still play this game. And so let's set this up here. This is the Decepticon deck, and this is the Decepticon team. And so generally you would sit across from your opponent or however, And this is how we originally started playing when this game first launched. And you can set it up however you want, in whichever fashion you want. You know, you can have them, you can have your main character in the middle, you can have them on the end, or however you want to try to help you remember how you do it. And then so once you get your two teams, you know, you got your opponent and you got yours, you have your decks. You can choose either by rolling dice, you can Rochambeau, you can flip a coin, however you determine who gets to go first. There are some rules and steps that happen once the first player is chosen. So for the sake of this video, we'll just roll a dice. We'll roll one single-sided die. And there are damage counters that you can use the dice for to put on your characters, or there's some of the starter packs or bundles come with these little paper, but you can use any kind of counter you want to determine your character's health remaining. So I will roll for the Autobots. I got a 6. I will roll for the Decepticons. Unfortunately is a 1. So the Autobots will choose to go first. And so by choosing to go first, each player draws 3 cards. All right. So the first player, or the Decepticons will draw 3 cards. And for the sake of this video, I will play every card face up. So this is his hand. This is my hand. I will draw 1, 2, 3. And since I am the first player, I get to draw an additional card on my turn. So at the beginning of my turn, I will draw a 4th card. And then so to try to keep this as simple and make sure it doesn't get too overwhelming or confusing, I'll go step by step. So, right, I chose to go first. I drew my cards. The first player on the first turn cannot play any cards. So that's the downside of going first. I can only play, I get to play 0 cards, but I can transform and attack. So I will look at my hand here, and then I will, so I've got an armor, an action, and another armor. All right, I will set that aside, and then I will choose which character I want to transform. You don't have to transform, but you get 1 transform per turn unless you get a card or something that states otherwise. So since on the first turn, I will transform Bumblebee, okay? And then, since Ironhide is kind of the tankiest person on this team, I will send Ironhide in first. So I wouldn't know what was in this person's hand because they would be hiding their hand, but for the sake of this video, you can, and I'm just going to set them out of the way so that you can see what I'm doing here. So I transform Bumblebee. I do not have to attack with the person that you transform with, but you can transform anybody, whichever character you have, even after they've attacked and have been tapped. You can still transform them on your turn. So, and so the turn sequence goes, you draw, you transform, or sorry, you draw, you can choose to upgrade a character or play an action. Then you can transform in whichever way you want, because some characters, it benefits them to be upgraded and then transform, or it benefits them to transform and then be upgraded. So it just kind of depends. And since I can't play any cards on this turn, we'll worry about that on that turn. So, and then I will choose an attacker. I'm choosing Ironhide to attack, and then I will choose someone on the other person's team to attack. And so I'm going to either choose Megatron because he is like the hero of this deck, or I will choose somebody with the lowest defense since I'm not playing anything to help upgrade my character. And then so once I determine an opponent to attack, I'm going to choose Ironhide, and I'll have Ironhide attack Starscream. I will then, after that happens, some sequences can happen depending on abilities or cards that are played, but since none of that has happened, I will just go straight into the attack. I will flip 2 cards from my deck to add to my attack. So I'll flip 1, I'll flip 2. And so I flipped a white icon. You get a special ability when attacking and defending. Once you flip the very first white icon, I get to flip an additional 2 cards. So I'll flip 2 additional cards, and then I add up all of these orange pips and add them to this orange attack value which then I will attack Starscream. So I'm attacking for 3 plus 1, so that would be 4 into Starscream. And now Starscream will flip cards to defend himself, and he gets to flip 2 as well. So we'll flip 1 and we'll flip 2, and he is defending with only 1. I'm attacking for 4, so 4 minus 1 would be 3, so he'll take 3 damage. If any of these cards were blue like this, he would have defended that. But since he flipped those on his defense, it did nothing. And so now that we get into these pips here, this is an orange and a green pip. And the way the green pips work is you can choose a card from your hand and swap it for a card that has a green pip. So I'm going to take this card here. This is a handheld blaster. I'm going to let my opponent know that I'm going to ditch that from my hand, and I'm going to take this enforcement baton. So you can only choose a card with a green pip. So you must swap a card from your hand to take that. So, and then that'll go into my hand there. And then these cards, now that all of that stuff has been done, damage has been dealt and stuff, these cards are now scrapped and they'll go into a scrap pile. Same here, I don't have any green pips on this side. So all 4 of these cards will go into my scrap pile, which will go right next to my deck there. And since that was my hand, I will put these right here to try to keep track of them and so that they can still be visible. And you want to try to keep all of your stuff on your play mat so that your opponent can see what's going on. You don't want to be doing anything under the table, doing anything behind your back, just as etiquette for any card game of any kind. All right, so now that that turn sequence is over, it is now this person's turn. So they get to draw a card on their turn. So this is their hand. And since it is their first turn, they can only play 1 card. So they get to play either 1 action or 1 upgrade. But they can still transform and do things like that. So let's see what we have here. As a hand, we have a bashing shield. So this is an armor. It gives you +1 defense. And it says, when you put this on a character, you may scrap an enemy upgrade. So there's no upgrades up on any of these characters yet. So that might not be the best option to play just yet. Then this is a utility. This is called Security Console. It says, when the upgraded character defends, draw a card, then plan a card. So that means you get to plan. So if I get to draw a card, and then I can put any card I want on the top of the deck. So that when flipping, I can see, you know, I kind of stack the deck in my favor if necessary. And that says, anytime the upgraded character defends. So that's only when defending. And then I have Supercharger. This is an action. It says one of your characters gets bold 3 until the end of turn. Bold is, so you know how I flipped the original 2 cards? Bold would allow me to flip 3 extra additional cards. And then if I flipped a white, I would flip an additional 2 on top of that. So total, in retrospect, if I played this card, I would flip the 2, then 3, so that would be 5. And if any of those are a white, I would flip an additional 2 to be 7 cards on my attack, which can be quite beneficial. And then I have a Enforcement Baton, and this is a weapon, and this says when you put this on a character, you may scrap an enemy weapon. Well, I have nothing on this side, so you can play it and it wouldn't have the effect, but it'll still get the +1 as a weapon. So let's see here. What should we do? All right, so Ironhide's going to be kind of a problem because he's kind of a tanky character. And then so we'll set that hand there. We'll look here. I will choose to flip a character. I will flip Starscream. All right. And then I will play the Security Console onto Starscream just to try to help give him some extra abilities. And then the only person that you can attack now with on this side is Starscream can only attack tapped characters. So as soon as your character becomes tapped, he is basically the willing to be targeted. So as in turn 1, how nobody was tapped, I had free range to attack anybody. But so that also helps play into your turn sequencing. That's why I sent Ironhide first, because he's kind of tanky. So he'll be able to take a couple of attacks and force you to attack only that character first. And so I'm going to send Starscream in first. And so that means I'll be forced to only attack Starscream on my next turn. So Starscream's going to choose to attack Ironhide. So I will tap him. He has his 3 damage. And then, so this is his deck. So he has 1 and then 2. All right. So I've got 4 plus 1. So that's 5 to my defense here. So I will flip 2 for Ironhide. All right. So like with Ironhide, since he's kind of tanky, I blocked 4 out of his 5 attack. So Ironhide's only going to take 1 damage. So that's also, like I said, where it comes in, where that's why you want to also feed your opponent the character that you know is going to probably survive. And so those cards will go into the scrap pile right over here. He has a green card here, so he could choose to do something. So, ooh, this is going to be kind of interesting. So this is a pretty good card, and there are some cards that are either Autobot or Decepticon faction. Basically, like this right here states, oh, sorry, let me put it this way, can only be put on Decepticon. So this is a Decepticon only card for the most part. So it can only be put on Decepticons. So I wouldn't be able to put this on an Autobot. So that's why it is only in this Decepticon deck. So I will probably drop this Enforcement Baton and grab this Scoundrel's Blaster and put that into this deck, or this hand here, and then those will go into its scrap pile over here. All right, and so this card is, you can only put on Decepticons only, and it says when the upgraded character is attacking an Autobot, it has Pierce 2. So the way Pierce works is, no matter what, guaranteed 2 damage will go through no matter what the defense is. So if I have 4 attack, I'll add this to Starscream. That would give him 6 attack and Pierce 2. So if Ironhide defended all of that 6, he would still take 2 damage from the Pierce. So that's how Pierce works. Pierce is a pretty good mechanic for this game. So those cards will go into that. And now it'll be my turn again over here. So I will grab my hand. And so now that we've made it to the normal turn sequences of 1 and then first turn, second turn, now on the first full turn of mine, I can play 1 action and 1 upgrade. So I get to play 2 cards now. So I will draw for turn. All right. And so you can also transform somebody again. So, all right. So I will transform Bumblebee back, which now gives everybody Pierce 1. Okay. And then I will play this Blast Shield onto Bumblebee, which gives him 2 armor. But so some cards are kind of powerful, but they also come with a downside like this. This gives you +2 defense, but then it says after the upgraded character defends, this card goes into the discard pile. It gets scrapped. So we'll play that onto Bumblebee. And then I will play this card. It's called Team Up Tactics. It's an action. So you can play 1 action, 1 upgrade. And it says choose one of your characters. If it's a truck, repair 2 damage from it. If it's a car, draw 2 cards. So I'm going to choose, I will choose the truck and I will heal Ironhide for 1 damage. I know I could have healed him for 2, but I did the 1 because he only has 1. So he doesn't, you can't gain health unless something that you equipped to them boosts their health. So now Ironhide is fully healed. Bumblebee has been upgraded. And then I will choose to send Bumblebee into Starscream. So Bumblebee also has Pierce 1. So therefore, I will guarantee to at least do 1 damage. And so I'm going to choose Bumblebee to attack. And the only person that is available is Starscream. And Starscream now has Tough 1, and he has this here. So the attacker will go first. I will choose my 2 cards here. I will flip this card and this card. All right, so Bumblebee's going in for 3, 4, 5. Okay, now the way this works is, so this will trigger first. So I will draw a card. I can look at it. Okay, it's a white card. It's an espionage. Let's see, do I have anything in my hand that I would like to swap for that? Not at the moment. So then technically I will just actually put this card back. It says the upgraded character, draw a card, that then plan a card. Okay, so yeah, I'll put this card back on top because then I'll get guaranteed an extra few flips. So now with defending, I will flip this card. Flip this card. There's my original 2. So for now the white pip, then I'll flip 2 more cards. So we'll flip 1, 2. Unfortunately, it only happens 1 time. So now that I flipped another white, that doesn't mean anything. All right, and now I get tough 1 for Starscream's ability. So I get to flip 1 additional card. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we have Starscream defending with 0, but then he's got 1, 2, 3, okay? So Bumblebee's attacking for 3, 4, 5. I'm blocking 3 from Starscream, so I will take 2 more damage, and Starscream will go up to 5 damage. And so there's that green card there. I could also swap for it if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. And so, and this is also one of those control-y decks. I get to look at my opponent's hand and do some stuff to it. All right, so now it is the opposite person's turn. See, I've got a green on this side. Sorry, I skipped ahead. I can choose to swap a card from my hand and do that. So I'm gonna swap this improvised shield for this reactive armor and put that card into my hand, and that'll go into my scrap pile for Bumblebee's side. All right, and now it is this turn. The Decepticon. So I will draw a card. All right. So now, this is where it's going to get interesting. Okay, I know Bumblebee has a decent amount of defense. So I'm going to transform Impactor. I'm going to play Scoundrel's Blaster onto Impactor, which gives him +2. Hopefully that's still visible. And then for my action, I'm going to play Supercharger onto Impactor. So Impactor's going to be flipping a lot of cards here. So, and now I transformed, I upgraded, I played an action, and now I'm going to choose an attacker. I'm going to send, I'm going to send him into Ironhide and see if I can get rid of Ironhide. All right, so I will send Demolisher into Ironhide. All right, so because of his special ability, we'll go through this kind of slow. So we'll flip 1, 2 for my original flip, right? So 1, 2 for his normal flip. And then his ability, I get to flip 4 additional cards because his defense is only 4. So we'll flip 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now, Supercharger, I get to flip 3 more cards. So now we're going to flip 3 more cards. 1, 2, 3. And since I originally flipped 1 white, I get to flip an additional 2 more cards. So let's see here. 1, 2. Okay. So let's do this way so that we can see it. All right. So he has 0 attack, but then he's got this weapon which gives him +2. So he's got 2. And now we're going to add up only the orange pips. 2. We got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Pierce. See, he got 1 black pip. So he's got Pierce 1, Pierce 2, Pierce 3 because of this weapon. Okay, so he's going in for 2. I think, what did we say, 9? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So yeah, these other pips don't count, but we will double check here. So we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10, Pierce 3. So guaranteed 3 damage will go through regardless of what Ironhide blocks. So let's see what Ironhide can block. So right now, if he flips 0 blue pips, he's going to perish. So we'll find out what Ironhide flips. Oh, he flipped 2 blue, so he got lucky. All right, so we're going in for 10. I'm going to block 5, so he'll take 5 damage. Right, and so if I would have blocked all of that, like I said, he would have taken the 3 damage guaranteed. But since I blocked 5, we got 3, 4, 5. So he'll take the 7 damage. Or I'm sorry, he'll take 5 damage. And so we'll take Ironhide and give him 5 damage. And then these will go into the scrap. There were some greens in this pile. Let's see if there's anything worth taking. No. Nothing worth taking. All right. So this action will now go into the scrap pile now that it's been played. And then I know it's a little clustered up here, but we're going to still try to keep this on point. All right, so now it is the Autobot's turn. I'm going to draw for my turn. All right. So now we have some armors and we have an actions. And then so what we're going to do is we're going to transform Optimus Prime. Okay. We're going to transform Optimus Prime so I can try to get some draw power. And then I will also... All right, so here's one of these cards that are kind of like an Autobot card. This is called Confidence. It has an orange pip. It's an action. It says draw 2 cards, then scrap 2 cards from your hand. If you began the game with only Autobot characters, you may play another action. So I could technically play a second action after playing this card. So first, we'll play this card. We will draw 2 cards. We'll draw 1. We'll draw 2. Okay. I didn't get any other actions, but since my whole team is Autobots, I still have to scrap 2 cards. So let's finish this first part of the thing. So I will scrap this blast shield, and then I'll scrap one of these drill arms. Okay, I'll put them into the scrap pile over here. And then for the second part of this, I will play another action. So my other action says I can do 1 damage to a tapped enemy. So I'll play this card and I'll do 1 damage to Starscream, which will put him at 6. All right, so there's that card's finished. And now I can still play an upgrade for turn. I will play this drill arms onto Red Alert. And so drill arms is a blue pip. It's a weapon. It says when you put this on a character, scrap an enemy armor if you cannot draw a card. So he doesn't have any armors, so I'm going to draw another card. All right. And then I'll put that into my hand. All right, I got a data pad. And then now I'm going to choose to attack with Red Alert, and I will send Red Alert into Starscream. All right, see if we can get rid of Starscream. So Starscream, we got to remember to plan, and he'll have tough. So we're going to flip 1, and we're going to flip 2. All right. So we're going in for 3, 4, because now he has a weapon, 5, 6. And then Starscream's going to defend. Since he has 0 defense, he's going to draw a card and maybe plan a card. Okay, so that's a really good card. So he's going to keep that card, and then he'll just stick this bashing shield back on top, and he's going to keep that card there. Unfortunately, it was nothing that could help him, but that's the kind of the benefit of getting to cycle through cards. So he's going to flip 1, he's going to flip 2, and then he's got tough 1, and so he'll flip 1 additional card. So he's going to defend for 2 against 3, 4, 5, 6. That unfortunately is not going to be enough, so Starscream is going to perish. So any upgrades or equipment attached to them will go to the scrap pile, and then Starscream will get removed from the game and set into the KO area, which can be off the table or off screen or off board, however you and your opponent determine how you want to do that. But I still have some greens I can choose from. Ooh, I don't think I'm going to choose anything because of what I have in my hand is much better than that. So I'll just let those go to the scrap pile. And now these sides will go to the scrap pile as well. And then all these actions will go to the scrap pile now that that turn is ended. And now it is the Decepticons' turn. And so the Decepticons has his cards here. All right. He's going to draw a card. All right. Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do now is we're going to play... We're going to play this Enforcement Baton onto Skywarp. All right. And we're going to transform Skywarp. And so we'll give Skywarp this Enforcement Baton. This is the hand. We're just going to set this out of the way just because there isn't a whole lot of space up here. And so it says, when you put this on a character, scrap an enemy weapon. So this card that I put on red alert is going to go into the scrap pile because of that card there. So it's basically a removal, a weapon removal, and how that one was an armor removal. All right, and so now I'm going to choose Skywarp, and I'm going to send Skywarp. Oh, can I get, let's see here, I'm at 5. I have to get lucky to try to get rid of Ironhide. I'm going to try to send him into Ironhide to get rid of Ironhide, just so that we can try to even up this game a little bit. So I'm going to send Skywarp into Ironhide. All right, we're going to flip our 2 cards. 1, 2. Okay, so we might get there. It all depends on what Ironhide flips. All right, we got 1, 2 for Ironhide. All right, Ironhide's defending for 4. All right, so Ironhide only has 2 health left. So I'm swinging in for 4, 5, 6, Pierce 1. All right, so I'm going to defend 4 and take 2 damage, which is unfortunately not going to be enough, and Ironhide is going to perish as well. So anything upgraded or anything near him will go to the scrap pile, and then Ironhide will be removed from the game, and then we'll free up a little space on our board here. His damage counters will get removed or set aside. Same thing with Starscreams. And then I don't want any of these green pips, so I will let them go to the scrap pile. All right, now it is the Autobots' turn. Okay, and so we have my hand here. I'm going to draw my card on my turn. All right. I'm going to... Yeah, so he's the same in both. Let's see here. What do we got here? Data pad. When you upgrade a character, draw a card. Or when the upgraded character attacks, draw a card. Then you may put a card on top of the deck. So it's kind of like that card that was on Starscream, but this one's done a little differently. This is kind of like the opposite counter card, but you get to keep the card. So I'm going to play this onto Optimus Prime. All right, Optimus Prime has bold 1. But for this turn, I'm going to transform Bumblebee. Okay, to give Bumblebee a little protection, and then I can use Bumblebee on my next turn. So I played my upgrade. I don't have any actions to play. So I have 2 people that I can attack. Well, Demolisher's pretty tanky, so it's going to be really hard to try to get into him. So let me think here. We got 3. I might be able to put a little damage on Demolisher, but I'm not going to risk it until I have something more than I can choose to do to try to get rid of Demolisher. So I'm going to attack him just because that's the way I'm going to look at it. So for Datapad, I'm going to choose Optimus Prime. I'm going to attack Starscream, or Soundwave. Skywarp. Sorry, I'm going to attack Skywarp. So I will draw a card for Datapad. All right, I'm going to keep this card, and I'm going to actually put Improvised Shield on top of the deck. All right, because it gives me +2 attack. So there's 1, and there's 2, and then Optimus Prime has bold 1. So we're going to go right there like that. All right, so we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into Skywarp. Now Skywarp's going to defend. Oops. So... All right, so now defending, we're going to flip 1, and we're going to flip 2. I got a white pip, so I can flip 2 more. 1, 2. All right, so Skywarp's defending for 2, 3, 4. All right, and Optimus is coming in for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, I meant his ability could trigger if I wanted to, and I could send that damage somewhere else. But since it was a decent defense, I'm going to just take it. And so he'll take, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 7, so he'll take 3 damage. And we'll just put the 3 damage onto Skywarp. All of these cards will get scrapped because I don't really have anything I want to trade from my hand for any of those, and that'll go into the scrap pile. And so now my team is all tapped out. But sometimes when that happens, so if I had more characters on one side than the other, when it gets to this point, the opposite person, whoever has untapped characters, would keep attacking until all of their team is tapped out. So, all right, so now it's the Decepticon's turn. We're going to draw a card. All right. Okay, so now this is where sometimes going first or going second will also help the way things go. And so we're going to transform Megatron. All right, we're going to send Megatron. We're going to give Megatron a grenade launcher, which is going to give him +4 attack, plus his ability where he gets another +1 attack. And then he's going to play this action card, which is one of your characters gets +2 until the end of turn. So Megatron's going to come in and he's going to try to swing pretty hard. So we're going to transform Megatron. We're going to upgrade him with a grenade launcher. We're going to give him an action card, which gives him +2. And he's going to attack Optimus Prime, which is just on brand. Megatron is going to swing as hard as he can, and he's going to try to do as much damage as he can to Optimus Prime. And so Optimus Prime is going to take, we're going to flip 1, and we're going to flip 2 for Megatron's attack. All right, and then we'll add all that up here in just 1 second. All right, and so Optimus is going to now defend. That is his hand, so we're going to just set that way so that we don't get that confused. All right, Optimus Prime. Oh, we got a white pip, so we're going to flip 2 additional cards. All right, so Optimus Prime is defending for 2, 3, 4. All right, Megatron is swinging in for 3, plus his ability, so that's 4, plus this grenade launcher, which is another 4, so that's 8, +1 there. So he's swinging in for 9, and then this card gives him 2 more attacks. So he's going in for an 11 attack into Optimus Prime, who's only defending for 4. So Optimus Prime is going to take 7 damage, which is a pretty good hit. And that's kind of how you would want to play it. So you want to, like I said, if you can make a big swing and attack your opponent and hit them as hard as you can with one of your main characters, that, like I said, that put a pretty big dent in the Autobot team, because their hardest hitting character, Optimus Prime, their leader, just took 7 damage and he only has 3 health left. And so I don't have anything in my hand that I want to swap this for, so that'll go to the scrap pile. And so the way this grenade launcher works, it's a pretty powerful card, but it states that after the upgraded character attacks, scrap this card. So this card goes to the scrap pile. His flipped cards will go to the scrap pile. He doesn't have any greens. And now this action card will go to the scrap pile as well. And so Megatron would have been tapped like that. And so now that we're at this state, once everybody is tapped out, now that we're back at the start of the next person's turn, we will untap all of our characters. Just like that. Boom, 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 and boom. So that, in a nutshell, is how this game is played. And you would continue to do this back and forth until all of your teams are wiped out. I will also continue to play this out, and I'll make another clip. I'll shorten this video and just end it here. But that is the gist of how this game is played. And then I will continue to play this game out so that people can still see that it happens, and I will do it in a separate video. So yeah, so that's how the Transformer TCG game is played. Autobots versus Decepticons, or you can mix and match however you want. Like I could have Bumblebee on this team with these characters, or I can have Demolisher on the Autobot team with these characters. It doesn't matter, it's your preference. I just did this for, you know, the view of Autobots versus Decepticons, you know. And so we're going to keep going here now that is basically the gist of how you play. And so now we'll keep playing this out so you can kind of see how it goes. All right, so now it is the Autobots' turn. I'm going to draw a card. All right. I can still transform somebody, and I can play some cards. So let's see here. I will transform Red Alert, and I will play this reactive armor onto Red Alert, which will give him +1 defense, since he has 0 defense in this mode. And then, let's see here. I'm going to play Leap into Battle, which gives Red Alert +3 attack. So I'm going to send Red Alert into Megatron, and we're going to try to clap back at him and get some damage put on their biggest hitter. Since each character has their, their own strengths and weaknesses. So Red Alert's going to attack Megatron. I'm going to flip my original 2 cards. We got 1 and we got 2. Oh, we got a white pip. So let me move this out of the way. There we go. So we're going to flip an additional 2 more cards. Ooh, that's good. That's real good. We almost actually might take out Megatron. And so Megatron's going to defend for 1 and 2. All right, so Megatron's only defending for 2. We got 1 from his regular defense and 1 for his flips. So we got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm swinging for 11. Unfortunately, Megatron's going to defend for 2, so he is going to live on 1, which is a reoccurring theme in the Transformer game. There's even a podcast called Alive on 1 because this generally happens more than you know. But yeah, so we're going to double check, and that's also you want to make sure when playing is to double check and do your math correctly, even if you have to do it a couple more times, just to be on the safe side, because, everyone's human. We all make mistakes. So we got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. So, and you can also count backwards. So we got 10, 9. So unfortunately, yes, he's going to live on 1. He's only going to take 9 damage. But that leaves him very vulnerable because Bumblebee also has Pierce 1 and he can attack Megatron and kill him guaranteed, or he can KO him guaranteed with his Pierce 1. All right. So there's some green there. I don't think I will do anything else. Yeah, I won't do that. I will just let that go. And then those will go to my scrap pile. The action card will go to the scrap pile. These cards are going to go to his scrap pile. And so the way it would work too, since I decked out, the way it works is, not like Magic, but once you deck out, you just reshuffle your deck and then it becomes your playable field again. But since that happened in the middle of this defense, these cards wouldn't get added to the shuffle. So you reshuffle immediately after you deck out. So, but see, Megatron did take a pretty good hit on that aspect. And like I said, that leaves him pretty vulnerable. And so this game can turn around very easily. And it's a fun game, and it's very player friendly that you can choose to build your deck however you see fit. And there's lots of different avenues you can take. You can play very aggressive, or you can play defensive. You can play mixed. You can play control. There's combos. There's all sorts of cool things. All right. So that'll go there. The scrap, these 2 will go into the scrap pile, which will go there. I'm going to just turn that hand that way. So now it is this person's, the Decepticon turn. Let's bring his hand up here. All right, we're going to draw for turn. All right, let's see here. What do we have here? Okay, so we have Bashing Shield and Frag Toss. It says, one of your opponents, and see, this is kind of a Decepticon card. I don't know if you can see it. It's very faint, but in the background, there's a Decepticon symbol. That just means it's more of a Decepticon-esque card. It can be played in an Autobot team, but then you wouldn't get some of the other effects. So this says, one of your opponents chooses one of their characters and does 1 damage to them. If your starting team was only Decepticons, your opponent does 1 more damage to their character. So technically, I'd be able to do 2 damage to that character. But if I wasn't all Decepticons, I would only be able to do 1 damage. So that's like I said, there are some kind of Decepticon cards, or Decepticon-esque cards, which isn't only Decepticon cards. It just gives you an extra ability if you have only Decepticons. Same thing with that Confidence. I could play that Confidence card, draw 2, but then since I had only Autobots, I was able to play another action card. And so I'm going to play this Bashing Shield onto Demolisher. And so the only armor that I have, I have both of these armors, but to be smart, I'm going to get rid of this armor on Bumblebee, and it's going to go to his scrap pile. And then I'm going to play this Frag Toss, which I'm going to do 2 damage to Optimus Prime, which will put him alive on 1 as well. So he will be at 9 damage now. And so that is my action and my upgrade. And then the only person I can attack right now is Red Alert. Yes, it would have probably been wise to get rid of his armor, but scrapping that armor would have made me scrap one of my armors. And since the only armor I have is the one I just put on Demolisher, that would not have been a wise decision, because then I would have gotten rid of my own armor. So therefore, and then I'm going to send Demolisher into Red Alert. And I'm going to now see how many cards I can flip. And we're going to do several cards here. So we got 2 from his regular attack, 1, 2, and now we're going to do 5 from his ability, because now he has +1 defense. So therefore now I will flip 5 cards instead of the 4 from his ability. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I didn't get a white, but that's okay. So we have 2 from the weapon, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're going to do 9 damage into Red Alert. Let's see how much he's going to defend. So we got 1 and we got 2. Oops. All right, so he's only going to defend for 2 because he's got 1 from the armor and then 1 for flipping his battle card. So he's going to take 7 damage, which is a pretty good hit to put onto him. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Red Alert took his 7 damage. All right. That was a pretty good hit from Demolisher. We will put those in the scrap pile. We'll scoop all of his cards up. Put them in the scrap pile. He doesn't really have anything to trade. His hand is empty. Take that action. Put that there. Grab my hand. Draw for my turn. Ooh, that's a good card. All right. So, therefore, now we're going to play this Piercing Blaster onto Bumblebee. So this is a weapon, and this weapon says that you get Pierce 3. So guaranteed 3 damage goes through. So I'm going to transform Bumblebee, give him also Pierce 1 again, so he has Pierce 4. So the only character that I can attack is Demolisher. So we're going to flip. I've got to reshuffle. And so if I get 1 more orange, all of the damage will go through and he will not block any of it. But let's see if I can get lucky and get 1 more orange card. And then it'll be 4 Pierce 4. And Demolisher has 5 defense, but it won't really do much good, because Pierce goes through any defense unless stated otherwise due to cards or something that states that it negates or blocks Pierce. All right, I did not. So I got Pierce 3 at least, so Demolisher's going to defend for his 2 cards here. And of course he got a good defense. So we got a white. Flip 2 more. All right, so he's defending for 4, 5, 6, 7. So, but he's going to take the Pierce 3 and take at least 3 damage. So that's why, like I was stating earlier before, that I want to make sure that when I attack Demolisher, I have something that I can do the damage guaranteed, because Demolisher can be pretty hard to kill, just like Ironhide would have been. All right. Now it's the Decepticon's turn. He doesn't have any hand, so we're going to draw. And he's got this card. This is called Espionage. It says, choose a battle icon, then look at your opponent's hand and scrap that color from their hand. Well, this card's going to be a little hard because generally, unless you're paying attention, I mean, I already see the hand, but I would have called either blue or orange, and then I would have looked at my opponent's hand. And since in this aspect, for the control aspect of it, I'm going to say white. You see my hand, which is this white card, and it's going to get scrapped because it just is. And then this card was the action for the turn. And then what we will do is we're going to transform Megatron for turn. And then that's gonna get scrapped once it's turn. And then I will send Skywarp into Red Alert, and hopefully he can finish him off. So we got Skywarp going in for... Oop, we got a white pip. Let's put that over there. Ooh, yeah. I think Red Alert's toast. Okay, so we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Red Alert's only blocking 1. So yes, he only had 3 health left, so he is going to take 8 of that 9 damage, and he's going to get knocked out. So any upgrades on him will go into the scrap pile. So now this card would trigger. This says when this card is scrapped, due to the character being KO'd, it goes to the scrap pile. So then it'll trigger, and it says you can scrap an enemy armor. So the only armor available is this Bastion Shield on Demolisher. So that'll get scrapped. The action will go to the scrap pile. He doesn't have a hand to draw any greens, which there is none anyways. So all of this will go to the scrap pile. All right. That was a good hit. 1 for 1. See, now it's Bumblebee and Optimus versus Skywarp, Megatron, and Demolisher. Let's see here if some justice can happen for the Autobots. It is the Autobots' turn. I'm going to draw for turn. His damage is gone. We got drill arms, which is a weapon. Oh, but first what we're going to do is we're going to transform Optimus Prime. I'm going to draw a card and see if I get anything I can use. I did not. All right, so we're going to play this drill arms onto Optimus Prime. And it says that when you put this on a character, you may scrap an enemy armor. If not, you may draw a card. So he doesn't have any armor, so I get to draw another card. All right, well, this is perfect. So I have an action, but I'm going to save this action potentially. Let me see here. Skywarp has 7 health left, or not 7 health left. He has 5 health left. Demolisher has 4 health left. All right, so, oops, Bumblebee should have been tapped as well. That's right. So the only person left to attack is Optimus Prime. And I will, all right, yeah, I'll play this Rock Toss, and I will do 1 damage to Demolisher just to be on the safe side. All right, so that'll be over here. And then we're going to send Optimus Prime into Demolisher. And then we're going in for, we're only going in for 4. Demolisher's base defense is 4, so I'm actually going to do 0 damage to him. Oh, wait. I forgot about this utility. So I would have drawn that card, and then would I have put a card I wouldn't have done any against it. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I would have just done that, kept this card in my hand, which is probably not going to do me any good. So I still did 4 damage. He blocked 5 damage, so he will take nothing. He's got no greens. All right. All this goes to the scrap pile. Now it's Megatron's turn. Gonna draw for turn. We're gonna transform Megatron back. He's gonna get a Scoundrel's Blaster, and he's going to take out Optimus Prime. He's gonna go into Optimus Prime. He has Pierce 2 guaranteed, so Optimus Prime is definitely gonna perish. We got 1 white. Flip. All right, so Megatron's going in for 3 plus his ability, so that's 4, 5, 6, Pierce 2. All right, I got nothing to add to it. Optimus Prime's going to defend for 2, 3. He's going to defend for only 3. The Pierce 2 will get him, and all of this stuff will get scrapped. Optimus Prime will go to the KO area. Now it's little old Bumblebee versus all these big bad Decepticons. All right, all that'll go to the scrap pile. We'll ready up. Megatron would have been tapped, and now he's untapped. Skywarp and Demolisher. All right, little Bumblebee. All right, so this is looking bad for a little Bumblebee here. All right. So that was Megatron swing. So it's Bumblebee's turn. I'm going to draw. I'm going to play this confidence. I'm going to draw 2 more cards. 1, 2. All right. I'm going to scrap 2 cards. Or, yeah, scrap 2 cards. I'm going to scrap drill arms, and I'm going to scrap handheld blaster. And then I'll play team up tactics. And I'm going to choose a card because that's the only card available. I'm going to draw 2 more cards. 1, 2. All right. Well, all right. Didn't get a whole lot. Ooh, I got that. Nope, we're just going to stick with the Pierce 3. And so what we're going to do here, since none of his characters are tapped, at least Bumblebee's going to make one last-ditch effort. And he's going to... Wow. Ooh. He can knock out any one of these characters. Possibly. Potentially because he has Pierce 3. So... he's going to just go for Megatron, and he's going to send his attack into Megatron, unfortunately. And, do we flip him? Yeah, we'll flip him. We'll flip him. Since he does have full health, so he can potentially survive this. 1, 2. All right, so Bumblebee's going in for 4, 5, 6, 7, Pierce 3. Megatron only has 1 health left, so he's going to be guaranteed to not survive. So he's going to defend for 1, 2 against Bumblebee's 7 Pierce 3. He is not going to make it. He's going to perish. He doesn't have anything in his hand to swap that green card for. So his damage is going to get removed, and he's going to get sent to the KO area. This will get scrapped. That'll all get scrapped. All right, so now the unfortunate thing is Bumblebee has to try to survive 2 attacks here. So it is now the Decepticons' turn. They're going to draw for turn. They have an Enforcement Baton. So he's going to take this Enforcement Baton. He's going to play it onto Skywarp to remove Bumblebee's weapon. And then that'll go to the... So when you replace a weapon, that weapon immediately goes to the scrap pile. So I replaced one weapon with another weapon, which then triggered scrapping Bumblebee's weapon. All right, so I will choose to send Skywarp in first. Skywarp is going to attack Bumblebee first. So that's Bumblebee's hand. We're just going to leave that sitting that direction. So Skywarp's going to go in for... All right, so we're going in for 4, 5, 6, 7. Yikers. Bumblebee's got to defend 1, 2, and then he's got 1 for tough. So 1 for that, and then 2 for the white. Ooh, this might be pretty good for Bumblebee. Ooh. Looking pretty good. All right, so Bumblebee's defending for 2, 3, 4, 5. Against Skywarp's 4, 5, 6, 7. So 4 minus 7, he's going to take 3 damage. All right, let's get a dice here. And Bumblebee will take 3 damage there. All right. So since this attack is going to continue to happen, these cards won't go to the scrap pile. Let's get set aside until the end of the battle sequence. Same with this side. Those will just get set aside. And now it is Demolisher's turn. So Demolisher's going to come in, and he's going to swing pretty hard. So this might be it for little old Bumblebee. All right, so we got 2 from his weapon, and then 4 for his ability. So let's go here. We got 1, 2, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 for his ability, and now I need to flip 2 more cards. See, that's why you wouldn't add those in, because those wouldn't get shuffled in. He's got to shuffle, and he gets to flip 2 more cards for his white. Okay. Let's go Bumblebee. Maybe Bumblebee might come in clutch here and win, but I don't know if he's going to be able to survive another whole attack. He's going to take at least some damage on this turn. All right, and then 2 more for the white. Okay, all right, now let's see what we got here. So we got 2 from his weapon, 3, 4, 5. So he's going in for 5, pierce 2. All right, Bumblebee. We got 1, 2. Unfortunately, Bumblebee's only blocking 2, so he's going to take 3 and go to 6. All right, now all of this will go to the scrap pile. Same with this side. All that'll go to the scrap pile along with that other attack. We'll ready up again. Ready up, ready up. Okay, so Bumblebee's hand here. We'll draw for turn. Okay. Bumblebee only has 3 health left. Ooh. All right, so Bumblebee's going to play a flamethrower onto himself. He's going to transform himself to give himself Pierce 1. And he's going to swing into Demolisher and see if he can try to at least take out Demolisher. Because Demolisher seems to... I don't know, man. Skywarp hits pretty hard, too. So... Yeah, we'll just go into Demolisher and see what happens here. So we got 1, 2. All right, and now 2 more for his weapon. 1, 2. All right, that's pretty good. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, pierce 1. So Demolisher is blocking. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, he did not block anything other than the original 4 from his defense. So he's going to take 3 damage, and that is just enough to knock him out. So Demolisher is going to go to the scrap, or to the KO area. All of this stuff is going to go to the scrap pile. That was pretty good, little Bumblebee. Pretty good. No greens on this side. All right, now Bumblebee has to try to survive against Skywarp. All right. Oops, that was Demolisher's. That's Bumblebee's. All right. Skywarp's going to draw for turn. Oh, unfortunately for little Bumblebee. He has a leap into battle, which gives him +3 attack. He's going to definitely play that. And for thematic, he's going to transform, and he's going to rain down upon Bumblebee. So he's going to go into Bumblebee. And we got 1. Oops. 2. Oh, so he's only swinging in for 5, 6, 7. I'm pretty sure Bumblebee's not going to be able to block too much of it. All right, we got 1, 2. Bumblebee's only blocking 3 out of the 7, and he will take 4 damage and perish, unfortunately. And so Bumblebee will get knocked out. All of his cards and everything will go to the scrap pile, and he will go to the KO area. And the victor is the Decepticons. Skywarp with the win. And that is the Transformer game in a nutshell. That's basically how you play the Transformers TCG. You have you build your team, you create your deck, and you battle Decepticons versus Autobots, or however you see fit. And that is that. So let's connect, play together, and I'll see you guys in the next one.